In 1887, a Lancaster County building inspector stepped onto an Amish kitchen floor and pulled out his penknife. He tried to scratch it. It didn't scratch. That floor was clay, sand, straw, and linseed oil, laid by hand. No permits, no contractor. Today, 3 techniques on this list are illegal under current residential code. Number 25. The rubble trench foundation. Stand outside any Amish farmstead built before 1920 and look at what isn't there. No concrete footer, no poured perimeter wall, just a narrow trench dug below the frost line, packed with loose stone and gravel, with a single drain tile sloped to daylight at the base. The principle is simple. Water causes frost heave. Remove the water, the problem disappears. Frank Lloyd Wright spent decades trying to convince architects to use this approach after watching railroad tracks sit undisturbed on gravel beds while concrete foundations crumbled beside them. The Amish never needed convincing. Archaeological surveys of 18th century Pennsylvania German farmsteads have found rubble trench perimeters still draining, still intact, after 200 years of freeze-thaw cycles. Modern building codes require poured concrete in most residential applications. The rubble trench is now effectively illegal for new construction in most U.S. counties. What replaced it fails an average of every 15 to 20 years. Modern engineers now call this same drainage first principle a French drain, but the Amish used it first. Number 24. The dry-laid stone foundation wall. A mortared wall, when water seeps in and freezes, cracks. Ice has nowhere to go, so it forces the joint apart. A dry-laid wall moves with the ground. Water passes straight through it. Freeze-thaw cycles that shatter a mortared foundation simply flex a dry-laid one. The Dry Stone Conservancy has documented walls in Pennsylvania built in this tradition that are still structurally sound after 300 years. The practitioners were called wallers, a separate trade from masonry, requiring a minimum of 7 years of apprenticeship. By 1960, the profession had nearly disappeared. Fewer than a few hundred certified dry stone wallers practice in the United States today. What they know, no classroom currently teaches. Preservationists now study these walls to relearn skills modern masonry training never covered. Number 23. The gravel pad foundation. An Amish crew building an outbuilding would strip the topsoil and lay 4 to 6 inches of compacted crushed stone, perfectly leveled, sloped slightly for drainage. No concrete, no footer, no formwork. A timber structure on a properly compacted gravel pad outlasts most concrete on grade slabs because gravel allows airflow beneath the sill plate, while concrete wicks moisture into it. A structural comparison found that big box kit buildings typically require full replacement within 10 years under heavy snow load, while traditionally framed structures on gravel pads routinely survive 30 or more. The Amish have used this approach since the 1700s. It costs about 1/10 the price of a poured concrete foundation. It is rarely taught in any construction program. This same gravel pad method now appears in modern building manuals as a recommended low-cost alternative to concrete. Number 22. The stone is still on packed clay. A course of flat limestone slabs set into compacted clay, leveled by eye in a bucket of water. Clay properly compacted and covered becomes nearly impermeable. Water does not soak in. The stone sill sits on a surface that does not move, does not erode, does not heave. Amish builders in Holmes County, Ohio, have passed this technique through more than 6 generations. Buildings founded this way in the 1800s are still inhabited today. No building inspector in modern America would approve this. The buildings are still standing. Soil scientists now confirm that properly compacted clay outperforms poured slabs in many cases. Number 21. The threshing floor. Walk into any surviving pre-1870 English barn in Pennsylvania and look down. Wide oak boards, sometimes 24 inches across, hand-hewn from old-growth timber, laid tongue and groove across massive joists, tight enough that a grain kernel bouncing on it would not fall through. The surface had to be hard, level, and shock-resistant, because threshing meant beating harvested grain against it for hours. Surveys of Pennsylvania Dutch barns have found threshing floorboards still in place from the 1780s, still structurally intact. The bents, the massive A-shaped timber trusses, were raised after the floor was already in. The floor came first because it was the foundation of everything that happened inside. Modern flooring engineers still test for exactly this kind of shock resistance today. Number 20. The pounded earth floor. An earthen floor is not a dirt floor. It is a manufactured surface created through chemistry. The recipe: 15 to 20% clay, 80 to 85% sand, chopped straw for tensile reinforcement, spread in layers, tamped when wet, burnished smooth when leather hard, then saturated with 4 to 6 coats of raw linseed oil. The oil polymerizes inside the clay matrix and creates a surface that is hard, waterproof, and warm. It stores solar heat during the day and releases it at night. In living houses across the Midwest, earthen floors sealed this way have survived generations of daily use. An Amish earthen floor is typically replaced not when it wears out, but when the family wants a different color. The floor would outlast the decision. Natural building advocates are reviving this exact clay sand straw recipe for modern eco-homes. Number 19. The root cellar earthen floor. An Amish root cellar maintains 32 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit year-round and 85 to 95% relative humidity. You cannot achieve this with concrete. Concrete seals the floor and removes the natural humidity exchange between soil and air. A bare, packed earth floor allows moisture to move freely, humidifying the air without trapping it. Stone walls allow additional vapor transmission. The result is a cellar that self-regulates without electricity, without a thermostat, without a hygrometer. Root cellars built in this tradition in Lancaster County have operated without mechanical assistance for over 100 years. They maintain the exact conditions commercial cold storage spends enormous energy replicating. Modern root cellar designs still chase the same humidity balance without ever fully matching it. Number 18. The limestone rubble wall. Limestone riprap, irregular pieces averaging 75 to 150 pounds each. Fitted in alternating courses with each stone bridging the joint below it. Brushed with water before placement so mortar could key into the surface. Mortar was used sparingly. The primary structural work was done by the geometry of the stones. Interlocking irregular shapes under compression become stronger as weight bears down. The more weight the wall carries, the more stable it becomes. A limestone rubble root cellar wall documented in Ohio, built in the late 1800s, has not moved. Engineers studying dry stacked masonry now call this compression principle self-stabilizing construction. Number 17. The French drain beneath the foundation. Before any foundation went in, the Amish studied the site for water movement. Where did the ground drain after rain? Where did ice form first in November? A perforated clay pipe, laid at the base of every foundation trench, sloped precisely 1/4 inch per foot toward daylight, surrounded by gravel, filtered by burlap or straw. Water never pooled under an Amish foundation if the builder did his job. Structural engineers examining failed modern foundations consistently cite missing or improperly sloped drainage as the primary cause of failure. The Amish solved this 300 years ago by watching where the mud went. This same drainage logic now forms the basis of modern French drain design standards. Number 16. The spring house floor. A spring house is the refrigerator before refrigerators existed. A small stone building over a natural spring, channeling cold water through the structure. The floor is flat stone slabs laid across stone piers above the water channel, with deliberate gaps to let cold air rise and circulate. Milk, butter, and meat were set directly on these slabs or in containers in the running water. Amish families across Pennsylvania and Ohio maintained spring houses from the 1700s until mid-20th century electrification. Many still do, having declined electricity. The floor design has not changed in 200 years. It still works at the temperature physics intended. Spring houses like these inspired early refrigeration designs long before electricity reached rural Pennsylvania. Number 15. The plank floor air gap. A traditional Amish first-floor plank was not laid on a slab. It sat on timber sleepers elevated off the stone footing, with open vents in the foundation wall. Moisture condensing under the building in summer could evaporate instead of soaking the sill plate. Cold air in winter kept the underside dry. The planks expanded and contracted seasonally without buckling because they had room to move. White oak, quarter sawn for parlors, flat sawn for upper rooms. Boards 2 feet wide were not unusual. A floor like this, properly maintained, ages into something concrete can never replicate. Specialists today pay thousands of dollars to artificially reproduce the patina that foot traffic creates naturally over generations. This ventilation principle is now standard practice in modern crawlspace construction codes. Number 14. The shiplap joint. Wide plank floors shrink in winter and expand in summer. The gaps that open were not just unsightly, they were drafts. The shiplap joint cut the long edge of each board with an offset L profile. When boards shrank, the edge of the adjacent board still covered the gap. No draft through. Made with a hand plane in under a minute per board. Amish craftsmen in the mid-18th century applied this as standard practice on any floor where movement was expected. Some old-growth shiplapped floors from the 1750s are still in continuous use in Pennsylvania. Tongue and groove replaced it commercially, but shiplap hid gaps better under real conditions. Restoration carpenters still study shiplap joinery to repair floors nobody can replace. Number 13. The drawboard mortise and tenon floor joint. Traditional Amish barn floors were assembled with mortise and tenon joints using a technique called drawboring. The hole in the tenon is drilled slightly offset from the hole in the mortise. When the peg is driven through, it pulls the joint tight, compressing the wood fibers under tension. The result tests at 3,000 to 5,000 pounds per square inch in shear strength per fine woodworking testing data. Modern joist hangers are far weaker under the rotational forces long-term floor loading creates. A drawboard floor system from 1870 is carrying more load today than most modern light frame floors are engineered to handle. The technique requires only a brace and bit, a wooden mallet, and knowledge no trade school currently teaches. Timber framers today are relearning drawboring because modern fasteners simply cannot compete. If you want to see where this list gets into the techniques modern building codes actively prohibit, stay with the channel. Number 6 is the one the industry doesn't want rebuilt. Number 12, the hand-scraped floor finish. Before sandpaper, before drum sanders. The Amish finished floors by hand. A sharp cabinet scraper drawn across the surface in long, consistent passes shears the top fibers clean, leaving every pore open and ready to absorb oil or vacuum. A floor finished this way takes the finish deeper into the wood than a sanded surface ever can. Homer Wood, an Amish flooring manufacturer still operating today, sells hand-scraped hardwood floors where each plank bears the signature of the craftsman who scraped it. No two planks are identical. The slight surface irregularity distributes load differently with each step, reducing long-term wear along any single plane. Amish families with hand-scraped floors from the mid-1800s have floors still in use, still improving with age. Flooring companies now market hand-scraped finishes as a luxury upgrade generations later. Number 11. The oxblood seal. Before linseed oil became standard, some Amish and Pennsylvania German communities sealed floors with blood from slaughtered animals. Proteins in blood polymerize when exposed to air, creating a hard, dark, water-resistant surface. A natural building researcher documented an earthen floor sealed in this manner from a mid-19th century Indiana farmhouse. The floor was over 100 years old, still hard, still intact, still dark. Protein-based surface hardeners are now being studied in materials science as low-energy alternatives to synthetic coatings. The Amish figured out the practical application 2 centuries before the research labs did. Materials scientists are now researching protein-based coatings the Amish used 2 centuries ago. Number 10. The timber frame floor system. An Amish timber frame floor uses massive hardwood beams, sometimes 12 inches by 12 inches, spanning the full width of the building. Subfloor planks, 2 to 3 inches thick, are laid directly across these beams. The heaviest, densest wood went to the most critical spans. Children learned to read grain and density by touch before they could read print. The whole family moved beams. Engineers examining 19th century Amish farmhouse floors report that many original systems could carry 3 to 4 times their intended load with no measurable deflection. The community built this way because they expected their grandchildren to inherit the building. Structural engineers today still marvel at how much load these old timber floors carry. Number 9. The stone tile floor. Flat-cut local limestone or sandstone, split to consistent thickness with a chisel, set in sand over compacted earth, no adhesive, no grout. The stones were chosen for flatness and fitted by the same visual geometry that built dry stone walls. The floor could be lifted, re-leveled, and relaid without damaging a single piece. It survived flooding. It held temperature, cool in summer, slow to cool in winter near a wood stove. Limestone floor tiles from Ohio Amish farmsteads documented in county surveys have been in continuous use since the 1840s without replacement. They have not worn through. They have polished smooth from foot traffic. They are harder now than when first laid. These same limestone tiles are now sought after by collectors restoring historic farmhouses. Number 8. The sill plate craft. In Amish tradition, the sill plate was selected from white oak or tulip poplar, woods with natural tannins that resist decay without chemical treatment, cut 4 inches thick. Before placement, the underside was coated with pine tar and boiled linseed oil applied hot, filling every pore and creating a moisture barrier against the stone below. Set on a thin bed of lime mortar to cushion against point loading. Amish farmhouses in Lancaster County with original sill plates from the 1830s show no decay where the pine tar treatment was properly applied. The modern pressure-treated equivalent uses copper and arsenic compounds, registered as pesticides. The traditional approach used materials found at any farm supply. One is still approved. The other is the one that actually works. Modern pressure-treated lumber still cannot match the longevity of a properly tarred sill plate. Number 7. The knee wall foundation. A short stone wall 2 to 3 feet high, built around the building perimeter at or just below grade. Its function: elevate the wooden structure above the soil, create a ventilated crawl space, provide a consistent bearing surface without deep excavation. The lower courses were laid with minimal mortar for drainage. The upper courses mortared solidly where the sill plate would rest. Building experts examining surviving 19th century Amish farmhouses consistently find that wood framing immediately above a properly built knee wall shows almost no decay after 150 years. The secret is airflow. The knee wall creates a buffer between wet ground and dry wood. Every traditional carpenter in America understood this before 1900. It disappeared when concrete became cheap and slabs became easier to pour than to think about. Building scientists now confirm that ventilated crawl spaces prevent the rot slab's invite. Number 6. The forbidden floor, the earthen cellar. Here is where building code and Amish tradition have their sharpest disagreement. An earthen-floored cellar. Bare packed earth or coarse gravel, stone walls. The result was 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit year-round through thermal mass alone. 80 to 90% relative humidity without a humidifier. No condensation because the moisture balance between floor, walls, and air was in equilibrium. This is the environment that keeps root vegetables fresh for 9 months, cures pork without refrigeration, preserves apples into spring. Modern codes prohibit earthen floors in food storage spaces, citing sanitation. Communities still operating traditional earthen cellars report no pest problems and produce stored in conditions that commercial cold storage spends enormous energy trying to recreate. Food preservation researchers now study these cellars to understand passive humidity control. Number 5. The pegged floor system. Before wire nails, before cut nails, floors were fastened with wooden pegs. Hand-cut from dry hardwood, tapered to fit a tapered hole in the joist below, the peg expanded as the surrounding wood dried, becoming tighter over time. A pegged floor from 1800 is more securely fastened today than the day it was built. This is the opposite of every metal fastener in residential construction. Every nail and screw in a modern floor is working its way loose. Wood movement, expansion, contraction, the seasonal cycling of moisture, slowly loosens every metal connection. A pegged wooden connection does not loosen, it sets. The technique is documented. The tools are available. Nobody teaches it. Wood joinery experts now confirm pegged connections outlast any modern metal fastener. Number 4. The lime plaster floor finish. Hydraulic lime troweled over stone or earth, floated smooth, burnished hard. Chemically similar to Roman concrete, naturally antimicrobial due to high alkalinity. Capable of self-repairing minor surface cracks through autogenous healing, in which lime particles and atmospheric carbon dioxide react to fill fractures. The Amish women of a household managed the floor care, including annual relining of kitchen and workroom floors in early spring. This was household knowledge, passed from mother to daughter. When daughters went to school instead of apprenticing at home, the knowledge went with them. The floors that remain where lime finishing was maintained are as hard today as when first applied. Conservationists now study lime plaster for its rare, genuinely self-healing properties. Number 3. The water level and the true floor. Before laser levels, before digital instruments, the Amish used water. A long, flexible hose, one end at each corner of the building under construction. The water surface at both ends is always at the same elevation. It cannot be fooled by soft ground, wind, or a warped straight edge. Engineering historians who have surveyed 18th century Amish farmhouse floors report that many original systems are still leveled to within 1/8 of an inch across spans of 20 to 30 feet after 200 years of seasonal movement. The water level is still used in some Amish communities today, for the same reason it was used in 1800. It works better than the alternative. Surveyors today still confirm that a simple water level rarely lies. Number 2. The chestnut floor. American chestnut was the dominant hardwood in the eastern United States before 1904, when a fungal blight accidentally introduced from Asia began its destruction. By 1940, 4 billion American chestnut trees were dead. The Amish who laid chestnut floors in the 1840s were working with old-growth timber that had spent a century or more accumulating rings. Chestnut is light, straight-grained, rot-resistant, and dimensionally stable. It does not move with humidity and changes the way oak and pine do. Old-growth chestnut floor planks salvaged from deconstructed farmhouses sell today for up to $40 per square foot. There is no way to grow a new chestnut in those dimensions. A chestnut floor in a Lancaster County farmhouse cannot be reproduced. It is a geological artifact in the shape of a room. Reclaimed chestnut is now treated as a rare, irreplaceable architectural material. Number 1. The living floor. This is not a technique, it is a philosophy. The most important thing the Amish understood about floors and foundations, the thing no code describes, is that a building is not a finished object. It is a living system in relationship with the ground beneath it, the air around it, and the people inside it. A properly built Amish floor was not installed and forgotten. It was tended. Earthen floors were re-oiled when the surface dried. Stone tile was revealed when frost moved a section. Lime finishes were refreshed in spring. Wood was watched for signs of moisture, of movement, of stress. The family knew their floor the way they knew their field. And because they knew it, they caught problems when they were small. Every traditional Amish builder knew these diagnostics by 16. Every apprentice had walked 100 floors before being trusted to lay one. That knowledge was passed person to person, hand to hand, for 300 years. And then, in a single generation, it stopped. This same relationship-based thinking is exactly what modern sustainable building tries to recover. Which of these floors is in a building near you? Tell me in the comments.